So first, I would like to congratulate Elon Musk for being the richest person in the world. Like, I'm a huge fan of his work and the passion that he puts into this work and the ideas that he has. But the problem I have with that entire saga is that a lot of people are just gonna like Google a lot of things that all these rich people say and just like say, okay, like this is just the way you live and this is just the way you become successful. But I personally think it's one of the dumbest things that people just do in general, because a lot of these things don't really apply to everyone, especially international students. And the one thing I wanted to kind of like pinpoint out is this entire criticism of college in general, and all these really rich people kind of saying that, oh, like college is not worth it, and like shit like that. The problem I have with that is that a lot of us who are international students don't really have another option but college in general. Like that's kind of like the get out of poverty card for a lot of us, honestly. Like if we want to come out of like a situation in our domestic countries that might not really serve well for us, we have to go abroad, right? And in order to do that, in order to enter another country, the only actual way you can do that is by getting a study permit, and the only actual way you can stay in that country is by being a full-time student. So when all these Sri Lankans keep quoting like Elon Musk's entire rant about college, as valid as it could be, it doesn't even make any sense to me, because like, what's your plan? Like if you're not going to go to college, like what is your actual plan? And the other thing that I don't necessarily agree with is like, all these people saying that, oh, you don't really learn anything in college, and you don't really like do anything important in college. Now, I think to a certain degree this is valid, because like after a certain stage of college, the stuff you learn is so abstract, like I mentioned before. But there are a lot of fundamentals that I've learned in college that have been very beneficial to me, especially in my first couple of years. Like for example, like if you want to apply for like software engineering jobs, your data structures and algorithms, the stuff you learn in school in a formalized education system, is extremely, extremely important. Now, one could argue saying, yeah, you could learn even these things outside, and you could probably learn the stuff that Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or what, like the stuff they know, you could probably learn it outside. But the thing is, like, will you actually do that? Like, will you actually go through a non-formalized education system, and will it actually benefit you, is a question that you need to answer yourself. See, the thing is, I am willing to admit that Elon Musk is much more intelligent naturally than I am, and he has much greater passion and a greater purpose and a greater drive for this entire entrepreneurship thing, and just like kind of like dominating the world and like sending people to space kind of stuff, than someone like myself, right? And for him, probably the stuff we learn in college is like peanuts. But I, for example, like I struggle with even very fundamental computer science concepts, and I think that's totally fine, because college is not supposed to be easy. Probably for someone like that, it's probably like a really easy kind of endeavor, but that's not the kind of reality for everyone, and I think that's completely fine, right? The other kind of like layer to this entire thing is that a lot of us might not even want to be entrepreneurs, and we might not even have the opportunity or the privilege to kind of like navigate through that entire cycle, or we might not even enjoy that kind of lifestyle, right? So the other thing that you can do is get into industry. And yeah, maybe like a few companies might not really require college as a degree, as a requirement rather, but you realize that you need to show other stuff to like compensate for that, because when you're in college, you naturally do a lot of things to kind of like fill up your resume, and you learn a lot of stuff which you can kind of show to recruiters. And one thing that you need to understand is that a lot of colleges and a lot of universities, they have a bunch of pipelines to these industrial like placements, where like they send a bunch of kids to like X company or Y company, and like if you go on LinkedIn and if you like follow these like kind of trends, which companies are hiring from which schools. You kind of have a look and feel as to how hard you should work to kind of get into a respective company. Because for example, I know that there are like a bunch of companies that target McGill students, but I know that some companies don't even give a shit, like they literally don't care. So I need to out hustle a bunch of people to kind of like get into their pipelines. Like it's just the game that is being played. And even if there, like I said, even if there are companies that don't really have any form of requirement, you really need to out hustle a bunch of people to get there. So what you need to understand is that the traditional kind of setup for a lot of industry pipelines and a lot of company pipelines and getting into these companies is still through college. So I don't think it's very advisable for people to even think about like dropping out and stuff, because this is just the safest route to kind of like get into an industry kind of like position, and I feel like that's what a majority of people are going to do. So yeah, I don't think everyone should listen to people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. I think there are a lot of things that you can get from people like this, but everything they say isn't applicable to you, and you really sound like you don't really sound great when you just quote random shit they say. So yeah, that's basically what I have to say about that situation. I think college is an extremely important kind of like journey that people should cherish, and there's a lot of things you can learn, a lot of intangible things you can learn from college that you might not really get. Maybe things might change down the line, but this is just how things are set up right now, and I think people should cherish it rather than run away from it. So yeah, that's what I have to say right now. If you think I should change my mind, let me know. I'm always down to discuss.